That was the entire movie. That's why I feel that ChatGPT wrote the script of this movie. Who are you talking to, bro? Oh, brother, this guy stinks. That is how I felt from beginning to end. Let's get into it now. Oh boy, a spoiler-free movie review of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. This movie was torture. I feel like if I would have had my head smashed in with a mallet before going to see this movie, I would have enjoyed it because I don't understand the appeal of this. I really don't. I tried. After I went to go see the first one and came on here and said, not for me, this movie was bad. And I got so much backlash from that of people saying I never played the game, I don't understand the lore. I went back and revisited it all. And I thought, okay, maybe there's something I missed here. So many people love this so much that maybe I am the one who is out of touch and don't understand Five Nights at Freddy's. So I was actually going into this movie with a good heart. I had a little bit more expectation now that I understand what this movie was trying to be, which I wanted the first one to be more of a horror movie. I thought it was going to be a little bit scary. Wasn't that at all. But I was at least interested by the premise, by the characters, which it's animatronics that come to life. They're haunted. Josh Hutcherson's character in the first one is a security guard, which if you haven't seen the first one going into this one, you're going to be a little bit lost because they do a really bad job at reestablishing anything. They make all these weird allusions to the first one that if you didn't see that one, you have no idea what is going on here. And I thought maybe in the sequel they could get at least something better, something right, make it a little bit more scary. The only good thing about this movie was Matthew Lillard. That's it. If he wasn't in this movie, I would have left so irritated. And I wasn't even going to see this movie. I'll be completely upfront with you. I was going to go watch SpongeBob, the new SpongeBob movie. I was going to a screening, which I don't really go to those because the movie doesn't come out until this Friday. But I knew going into the holidays, my time was a little bit limited with traveling, that I was like, okay, they're having a Saturday showing at 11 a.m. I'm going to be the only single adult there to go see the SpongeBob movie, but I love SpongeBob. I went, and the Regal had a power problem. It was completely dark when I got there. People outside waiting, and they said the screening was canceled. I was so bummed, but luckily, I was like, I'll go see Five Nights at Freddy's 2. There happens to be a showing at another movie theater about 15 minutes away. Hit my ticket. I got there right on time as the last trailer was ending, and I sat there and watched the movie. So maybe I was a little bit not irritated, but bummed out going into it because I wanted to see Patrick and SpongeBob. I even wore my SpongeBob Vans that I haven't worn in a really long time. I did not get to see that. And I just could not believe how wooden all the acting was. It had some of the worst dialogue I have ever seen. I think quite possibly my worst theater experience ever because the interactions between all the characters were awful. Awful. Everybody in this movie was so bad. Josh Hutcherson's character is insufferable along with all the adults that live in this town. And what this movie is about is basically there is this big Fazfest happening now. There is a reason that these animatronics are back. And Josh Hutcherson is trying to protect his sister in the movie, Abby, from finding out the truth. He's trying to keep these things from her. You have the love interest from the first one back. Elizabeth Hale plays Vanessa, who I actually enjoyed her. If the movie was just about her character, maybe I would be a little bit more interested, but I could not believe the interactions between her and Josh Hutcherson's character in this movie did not make sense whatsoever. There is a point where I thought, dude, this girl is so hot, so out of your league, and you are being awful to her. If that was me in that situation, I'd be like, you're so hot. I don't care what you tell me right now. I'm going to believe you. Let's go. Forget about my sister. Let's go hang out. The teacher, Abby's teacher in this movie was so insufferable and it made no sense. The intro was boring and it tried to be so chilling. And I know this movie is PG-13. And I think the message here was supposed to be like, be nice to your parents or value your parents because it makes these weird kind of statements towards adults and protecting kids. Nothing in this movie landed whatsoever. The horror elements were bad. The updated animatronics did nothing for me. I wanted them to take out every adult in this town because they were so bad. So maybe it's supposed to be like inspiration to kids that adults suck, kids rule. We should listen to kids more. There was no redeeming quality of this movie. The only thing I am happy for is that some of these people are getting work on this scale. Like Josh Hutcherson, as a person and as an actor, I root for him. The announcement of him and Jennifer Lawrence returning to the Hunger Games is exciting to me. I'm just happy he has work because after those movies ended, he was like, man, Hollywood really chews you up and spits you out. I went from my entire childhood of being able to land every role. After that, I couldn't get any work. So the only good thing I could say about this movie is it got Josh Hutcherson out of a bad spot and it gave him some work. But could we get the guy some better dialogue? Could we get him some better action? The only interesting sequence was what I have to assume was the best interpretation they could do of the video game, where his character actually does something of note. This was essentially a Lifetime horror movie where I don't know who this is for. I don't understand the purpose of this sequel. And I think they just killed the franchise altogether by making another movie. What is going on with Blumhouse? Why can they not make a good sequel? Look at what they did to Megan earlier this year. They killed that franchise because they took what made the first one great. The horror elements, the scariness of Megan, leaning in a little bit to the humor, but still at the core of that movie, it is a horror movie. Megan 2 was so bad, I could not finish it on Peacock. I just couldn't. I tried 2 to 3 times to finish that. But they thought, hey, the first one was so good, let's just do whatever we want. Let's not make it a horror movie anymore. Let's make it an action movie. Why can they not make a good sequel? This was supposed to be their flagship franchise. It had every horror movie trope you can imagine. The one I hate the most was in this movie. I won't even say it because I guess it's kind of a spoiler. But there is a trope that they use in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 that every Blumhouse movie uses. Does Jason Blum just come out of his producer chair and say, hey guys, you know what this movie is missing? This trademark thing that this studio is so proud of. Awful. Was this movie written with ChatGPT? Because that's what it felt like. Where there was just an answer for everything all the way throughout this movie. I could not believe it. I won't get into specifics about the plot, but here is an example of a problem within Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Hey, there's no key to this door. I sure wish I could get in this door. Oh, there's a key over here. Let's open the door now. That was the entire movie. Anytime there was a problem or any kind of friction, there was an easy solution right there waiting in the corner. That's why I feel that ChatGPT wrote the script of this movie, because it's like, hey, create a problem, create a solution. Here's the problem, here's the solution. Oh, it's so easy. And I don't want to hate on child actors, so I won't. I don't think it's the child actor's fault in this movie. It has to be the direction, because some of the weakest performances I've ever seen on screen, I was so let down. And I don't even know why I had any kind of expectation going into it. But like I mentioned earlier, I wanted to go see the SpongeBob movie. I did not get that. And the entire time I had that SpongeBob character in my head. Oh, brother, this guy stinks. That is how I felt from beginning to end. There were moments where these actors were talking to themselves for no reason. I'm like, who are they talking to? Overstating things for no reason. Like, oh, that must be where she is. Who are you talking to, bro? Goodness. This is hands down my worst in-theater experience of the year. Normally, I take some time to collect myself whenever I get back from watching a movie, but I sat down immediately. I don't even think I looked at my notes that I made. Like, why do I even need them? Weak opening, the adults suck, worst dialogue, Blumhouse is just bad. Josh Hutcherson's character is a terrible guardian. Like, he's supposed to be watching his sister, and he's just awful at that. Video game-esque dialogue, which maybe that is what they got right. It felt like just cutscenes from a video game, and I just can't imagine them being on set and delivering this dialogue seriously. Like, how did they do that? Did they think there was a good movie in there? How was this even made? How was this approved? How did this go out into the world? I feel so bad for the people who were actually excited for this movie. And I know people are going to sound off in the comments and say how wrong I am, how boomer I am, how dumb I am for my opinions on this movie, but I don't get it. I wish I got it. Do you think I want to waste my afternoon watching a movie that is so bad? The only redeeming thing I can say is that next time I go back to the theater, I am going to watch the SpongeBob movie. For Five Nights at Freddy's, how low can you go? I mean, I didn't leave. I watched the entire thing. By the time the credits rolled, I was like, this could not have come soon enough. At least it was under an hour and 40 minutes. For Five Nights at Freddy's, I give it 1 out of 5 animatronics. Get it out of here.